Going to get started because I'm tired of babbling. If you guys are new to the group, my name is Roy Seraphin, and I am a wedding photographer and now a coach. I've been doing wedding photography for about 7 years, and now I've decided, you know what, I'm going to tell you people all my secrets. Why not? So today we're going to be talking about backlinks for photographers because that question comes up in the group actually fairly often. And if it doesn't come up in the group, it comes up in my messages. And so I kind of want to explain a little bit about what backlinks are, how to get them, and then we're going to go through some strategies. And then at the end of this, if you stay through, I have a really awesome resource for you guys to go through and get like 120 plus backlinks from this. Some of those are paid, some of those are not. Most of them are not. I tried to make it as free as possible, just because you guys probably aren't confused on how to get paid backlinks. You give somebody cash and they give you a link. That said, I do think there are some that are worth paying for, like local vendor collectives or certain sites with like really, really high domain resource or domain authority that will push a lot of traffic towards you. Let me see if I can get the comment screen somewhere around here. Okay, you can. I guess we're not seeing comments today. It's a secret. Oh, wait, there you are. Okay, so running through, just so you guys know, I'm going to have to jump back and forth because I genuinely cannot see your comments. Let's talk about backlinks in general and how they work. Okay, backlinks are really about trust. How trust works with people is this. If you tell people you're a great photographer, then you have to prove what you just said. Okay, that has to be proven as a fact. You basically are going to be held to your word. However, when you're introduced as a great photographer by someone else who's trusted by the person you're talking to, you just have to make sure not to prove them wrong. So essentially, you're like transferred the trust from person to person, okay? Person A is trusted by person B. Person A introduces person C. Person C is now trusted by person B because the trust from person A is transferred to person C. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Backlinks work exactly the same way. So backlinks work like this. Your website says you're a great photographer. You have to earn the trust of the visitor, right? Okay. A trusted vendor's website links to you as a great photographer. Your website earns trust from that trusted vendor's link. So if they're like, okay, well, my planner says John's photography shop is amazing, awesome, then that basically, like, you're now given the trust from that vendor that's pushing back. And Google looks at it the same way. They say, okay, well, you know, the floral shop that links to you has been around for a long time. They have a pretty decent domain authority. They're sending you a local link. They're a local place, so therefore you should be trusted. So website A is trusted by Google. Website A links to your website. Your website is now more trusted by Google because website A informs Google what your website is about. So basically just like proves that whatever the topic is you're talking about actually is the topic that your website's about, which is important, okay? So moving on. What are backlinks? Very, very simple. Backlinks are links on websites other than your own that go back to a page on your website. It's like one website telling Google your website is useful, and then their authority can transfer to you. It can kind of help build your authority, and then you can do the same thing for another person. So these are important because they help raise your site's authority ranking, which can make it easier for you to rank your content. It's not the only way to rank your content, but they are a fairly large factor in getting you up on Google, okay? So having more of these from websites that are trusted are definitely like high benefit. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull up the comments on my phone while we're doing this because I feel awkward not seeing what you guys are saying, and I don't want to repeat of what happened a few lives ago at this point. Let's see. Nope, don't want that. There we go. Look at that. Now we have no echo. Okay, perfect. So where are we at? We were talking about backlinks. Okay, so they're important because they help you raise your site's authority ranking, which can make it easier for you to rank your content. Essentially, having these backlinks from different sources, maybe they're like your local vendor lists. There are like local publications. They're national publications. They're larger sites that say like, hey, this is the guy for this subject, and then that would be like what your main key term is about, or the key term for the particular article you're linking to or being linked to. Okay, so backlinks come from a lot of places, but they come from social media profiles, vendor directories, award nominations and wins, local publications, national publications. These are online publications, by the way. You are not getting a backlink from somebody printing your website. That does not do really much else. Okay, so you also get other vendors' websites, any other website that links back to you. Now, you do want to make sure that the websites that are linking back to you are not bad websites. Okay, just like with how trust works, if like your best friend tells you that you trust that they trust this new person they're introducing to, you're going to take that with like a lot of, you're going to believe them basically, right? And if you run into a random man on the street who looks like he might have recently urinated on a gas station, then you're probably not going to like listen to that guy for advice on who to meet. He's just not exactly the same level of trust. He hasn't proven it or whatever. The point is that the link is not nearly as valuable. Also, sometimes you don't want to be linked to bad things. So, if you're getting a website backlink from like, it's some sort of explicit site that you just shouldn't be linked to at all, that has nothing to do with what you do, or maybe it's like a site that takes people's emails and sells them, or has just like a really bad ranking with Google as far as like spam level goes. You don't really want that link either, because it's genuinely not going to help you. It's just going to hurt you in the long run. Let me check these comments real quick. Hey, not sure why I'm here because I'm not ready for this stuff. Currently so behind on leads. That's okay. You can be here and you can get leads from doing like stuff like this. This actually will help you get more leads because it'll help your site rank a little higher. So what if it has a QR code? In the printed thing, it still doesn't help you. I guess it's technically a backlink, but for the most part, I'm going to go with no. Because it's not like every single printed edition means you get another backlink for that printed edition. It's just that one QR code that links back to you. But that's something that would be similar to like Bitly. Bitly, you can like link your site through Bitly and then share it on Twitter, and then that's actually a backlink from Bitly. In addition, you can also add it in your profile on there, I believe. So we have two types of backlinks. Okay, so we have Nofollow. These links sometimes do not help your ranking, but they can sometimes. Okay, that's, believe it or not, as clear as Google has made it. So there are certain times when a Nofollow link actually does like count. And it can still benefit you either way. So even if it's a Nofollow link, which basically means that Google's kind of like this is not really earned basically in their eyes. It can still be on a high traffic page and still get you a ton of traffic to your site. So, if you were getting a Nofollow link from a vendor that's got a page that's ranking really, really high, and it's literally all about wedding photography, and they talk about your style and they link back to you, that can still be beneficial to you, even though it's not necessarily going to be helping your SEO directly. Okay. And then do follow links. These are trusted links. So basically they're going to help your ranking. Okay. Google sees these, they go, okay, that's a green flag. We're going to go ahead and, treat this link basically better than the others. Okay. As a user, so like as someone visiting your website, it's pretty much impossible to tell the difference between a nofollow and a do follow link. You can click on it, copy, and use a nofollow link like any other link on the website. It just basically has a tag inside of it that says nofollow. There are different like plugins you can add in where you can like see like what links that you're trying to get are nofollow and which ones aren't nofollow. But realistically, like most of the time, most people aren't going to notice this too much. You, on the other hand, when you're going and spending a lot of time, you don't want to spend a ton of time getting a bunch of nofollow links. You want to spend most of your time trying to get do follow links. That said, you don't want to ignore them either because, again, they can still help you in some ways. And so that leads us to this obvious question. Why? Why on earth do we even have nofollow versus do follow? Like, what's the point of this? Okay. It's basically this. Nofollow was originally created to combat blog comment spam. So back in the day, when you wrote a really, really good article, okay, every company in existence would come in and comment on that blog post, and there wouldn't leave any meaningful comments. Like, they're not adding to the conversation. Kind of like if you were to go and just randomly drop your link on someone's Facebook post, and they were asking like, hey, where's the nearest where's the nearest place I can get my dog washed? And you're like, hey, I have a wedding photography website, and you just copy that as the link, and that was it. And you got a backlink from that back in the day. Okay. As the blog's popularity went up and spammy link only comments were pretty much everywhere. Basically, like as soon as they saw the opportunity, they did it. Caused two problems. Okay. One, spam filled sites started to rank really, really well in Google. This moved high quality sites out of the search results. So basically, like your sites where you would look at them and you'd be like, I don't trust this person in the slightest, okay? Those would start to rank higher than the ones that were actually like verified. So maybe it's like a hospital website versus a very obvious phishing site, okay? And phishing like PHISH, meaning that they're basically stealing your identity, okay? So spam commenting works so well that blog comment spam was rampant. And so Google's like, hey, you know what? We need to knock this needs to stop. And so that's where nofollow come from. Now, they did recently add something else in. So you have nofollow, you have do follow, and then you have like a sponsored link. Not very many people have actually used this. or are currently using this, but it is something I feel like it's going to be pretty standard kind of coming up. So basically, the idea for those is that even when you pay for a link, according to the way Google works, it's not technically supposed to be that way. You're not supposed to be able to just buy your way in. Google doesn't love that. So they want to link those as sponsored links, which are going to be treated roughly similar, maybe slightly better than Nofollow links. And then you have your regular DoFollow links that you're going to be looking for. It's kind of like if you drop in like an affiliate link from Amazon or whatever, and you got to say like, hey, this is an affiliate link. The price is the same, but I get a commission on if you buy it. You just got to let people know. Okay, and so here's some examples of nofollows. Okay, any link that has the nofollow tag is technically a nofollow link. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not completely it's completely useless, but it pretty much is still a nofollow link. So blog comments, links in Facebook posts or YouTube descriptions. I do want to mention one thing about the blog comments. That actually depends on if your website is set up to label blog comments as nofollow. There are some people that leave them as dofollow. I don't know if that's to encourage people like commenting or whatever, but typically if you're going to do this, you want to leave something that's actually like relevant to the conversation, because Google does see the interaction on that post, so it kind of raises that post up, but also you can link back to your website. Typically, if you're commenting on like a WordPress website, when you leave a comment, then you can drop your website in there, and that's a backlink from there. Okay. So then you get links in Facebook posts or YouTube descriptions. YouTube descriptions are technically nofollow. It doesn't mean they're not valuable. Again, if that video is really, really like keyed in, and maybe it's even one of your own videos, and it's like, I don't know, maybe it's about your wedding venue choices or whatever, and it links back to your blog. The video ranking itself will also pull traffic from like YouTube and go straight to your website, which again, that's a good thing. It's kind of what the whole purpose of getting higher rankings on social media are in the first place. So from there, you have certain blogs and news sites. So not every blog, again, and not every news site, but some news sites and some blogs do have nofollows. Links in press releases. So if you paid a press company to actually put out a release, maybe you recently moved into the area or whatever link you put into that press release is technically a nofollow. Links in forum posts. So like if you're in Reddit, there is a way to get Reddit to kind of like give you a backlink, but it's very complicated. And it requires a lot of like making the audience happy versus actually just putting the link in. So it's hard. It's not like it's not worth it, because that's a really, really high domain authority link, but it's complicated. So posts like that, if you're used car forums, all that stuff, somebody just drops your link in, it's typically a nofollow link. Reddit, I think, is just like if they upvoted enough, it turns into a follow link versus a no follow link. So if you're giving a really good resource that actually answers the question and you've put a decent amount of comments into it, then you're not going to be seen as spamming people. So moving on, Quora, YouTube, Wikipedia, Reddit, Twitch, and Medium, those are no follow links. Now, that doesn't mean they're not valuable. For example, going on Wikipedia and editing like a relevant post or rewriting a post and giving like valuable information to Wikipedia and having that link back to your site as like the link where you got the information from still could potentially put traffic in your way. So maybe they go to that link, they see that you're the authority figure on it, they click that link, then they come to you. Now that doesn't mean it's going to help you on Google necessarily as far as like ranking goes, but it's still a traffic source. Finally, do nofollow links affect SEO? I'm gonna be honest with you, Google really doesn't give a direct answer. I mean, their answer is very like tongue in cheek. So I made this meme. With that said, Google says in general we don't follow them. Okay, you have to read between the lines when someone talks that way. Basically, they do follow them, but not always. And there's certain situations where it actually makes a difference, and certain situations where it doesn't. Having those all listed out would be a very long presentation, and that's not really what we're here for. So just know that they're not completely worthless as far as ranking yourself up. So nofollows do carry some value, particularly though if those links are from related sites. The data isn't clear on how much they impact SEO, but it is clear it is not 0%. So they do have some effect. It's just less than what a dofollow link is. Links on sites with high traffic on related topics can still send you traffic even without directly affecting your ranking. So they may not cause you to be to go up in ranking. Like your authority is not going to go up from being linked from a certain site like this with a nofollow link. However, the traffic from that page can still be valuable to you and still build up your site's overall traffic, which will help you rank a little higher as well. Okay, so should you get no follow links at all? Yeah, 100%. Let's grab those no follow links and follow links from websites with high domain or authority or relevancy. However, do not spend all your time just grabbing no follow links. They're very good to get. They're not a big deal, but if you're spending 100% of your time just getting no follow links, it's not actually helping you as much as you think it would. So make sure your focus is mainly follow links. Okay. From websites with high domain authority or at least relevancy. So a lot of times you'll find like award ceremony companies don't have like or award. I don't even know what the term is for that. Places where you can win awards for photography. Okay, a lot of the times those have those will have links back to them, but their domain authority will be like really really low. Now, not all these are like this. Like Fearless is pretty solid, but there are a few that I've won from companies that are not great. However, they do have a lot of ranking or relevancy within the industry, or maybe the awards sound really good. Like Masters of Wedding Photography, like they have a like that's a good award to have. Like if I put that on my site, whether a couple knows if I've won an award or not, and I put like Masters of Wedding Photography 2021 award winner, they don't need to know the company specifically to know that that's a good thing to be winning in. And so there is some relevancy there. That said, let's talk about the backlink strategies. Okay. How do you get them? Again, I don't know. When I made this, I like memes. Backlink strategies for wedding photographers. Here's how you're going to get most links. Most links, okay, are going to require you to go to their website, fill out a profile with information and a link to your site. Now, you might need more information than this. You might need a pre-written photograph or paragraph about your business with your city and wedding photographer keywords into it. So like the main thing you're trying to rank for. And maybe like a basic, like why, like give it some reason as if someone would click on it or want to be interested in talking to you. Like you're still selling essentially at that point. You may also need 20 or so keyword named images for portfolios on certain sites. So if you're adding like Cakes and Carrots is one of them. It's a wedding vendor directory, and you want to add some images to that. So I would pick my 20 best, like maybe my portfolio images, but then I would go ahead and rename them to where it would be like, I don't know, for me, it'd be Orlando_wedding_photographer. Like that might be one of them. And then the next one would be like, wedding_photographer_in_Orlando. Like that would be how I'd rank it. So I'd look for variations of my keyword and then basically name those images that way, because it can help. It doesn't mean it's always going to help, but it does help somewhat. And so then you have some paid sites will want more information and provide multiple link opportunities. So if you're like signing up for Looks Like Film, they have a few different options. One of the options is to be listed, like for me, for example, is to be listed in Central Florida and also South Florida, because there's two different wedding markets that kind of happen here. I can technically pay and be linked to both of those. However, it does cost more, and I have to give them a little bit more information for the page that they're putting, something out on. So I might have to write a sentence, or I might have to pick an image that's going to be like the main image for that. But basically, like, it just depends. Let me check these comments real quick as we're kind of going. More memes, please. We should test this, make a test site for SEO and post nothing but no follows and see what happens. So funny story. There is actually a link that I was reading. It's from a site called Backlinko. And I don't remember which company did it, because there were 3 companies that did a test, and one guy actually did that. He started a site and he just bought a bunch of no follow links. And he went from like position 19 to position 1 the next couple days. So like there are companies that are doing tests like this to see kind of where they're at, but there's no like defined like, hey, Google says this actually does matter or not, or like this is how much percent it's going to matter. So they generally do matter. And so let's see what Kelsey's saying. She says, yeah, and then totally F your Google reviews when your couples copy and paste the same review for you. Thanks, Zola. Yeah, that does happen. Sometimes, I don't know. It seems like I've seen a lot of comments lately about like Google reviews being just like a giant issue in general. But that can happen if you're having your customers like copy and paste all of their reviews onto multiple sites like platforms. They can screw you over. I would not bother sending them to some of these sites. So like, okay, if I'm going to use the Wedding Wire or the Knot as like a source of income, rather than just a link, I may have my couples go and spend their time putting links in there or reviews in there. The problem is that if they ever close, if they change how they're doing things, I don't know, they're kind of known for doing such things like that, right? If they ever change and they get rid of those things, I kind of lose the value of those those reviews. However, I don't think Google reviews are going anywhere. And I personally would say try and just have your couples mainly focus on there, and then also have them send you text messages of like what they specifically liked about, so you can have different things to put on your site. But I wouldn't, like, if you're going to sign up for a bunch of these, don't spend a bunch of time getting like people to go and fill out reviews. That's just unnecessary. I almost never do it. There are some times where like I might, if the site is really, really good and it's a really good backlink and I think there's actually enough traffic to get me something, then I might have a couple fill out a few of them, but they're not going to be a priority. They're going to be like very low. If a couple actually ask me, hey, what's something I could do for you that helps even a little bit more, and I've already had them write a review on Google and I've had them do a video testimony, then I might be like, hey, you can just copy your review and send it over this way. It's one thing you could do. But Google's first. Okay, Google's 100% first. Okay, so let's talk about strategies. Okay, so you have local or related directories. To find more directories, like this is basically what you're going to do. You're going to find them. You're going to sign up. You're going to give your business information over, and then you're going to get a backlink over time. Now, keep in mind, it takes a random amount of time for Google to find your backlinks. Like I have had some where it's like the next day it's good, and I've had some where it's like 3 weeks, 3 months. And then they show up. I really have no idea why, but that's just the case. So if you're looking for directories in your area, okay, search the following into Google and see what comes up. So wedding vendor directory, and then your location. Now your location can be anything from city, county, cities nearby, state, and country, okay? Any of those variations, kind of take a look and see if there's not a place for you to add your name in. You're going to look for something for free that has a decent amount of domain authority, and will actually get you some like a worthwhile link. Don't sign up for something that has like a crazy amount of spam. Okay. So then you have wedding business type directory. So wedding photographer directory. In most of our cases, it might be like wedding caterer business, wedding caterer directory. Then you can do the location after that, whatever. You can find different things. So then you also have the location, Chamber of Commerce. So in my case, it'd be like Orlando Chamber of Commerce. I could go join that and I get a backlink from them. That would be a high value local backlink in most cases. And then you can just search for photographer directory. So there's a couple of those around the country that'll just give you directories. And you can also do it for your state, your city, whatever. And then same thing for location business directory. So, Orlando business directory in my case. There's a bunch of different other smaller towns that I could probably add myself into. And that's a few different ways to get backlinks. What you basically want to do when you're trying to go through these is you want to write, first of all, get a spam email. Get an email that you can actually access but isn't your main email, so you're not like getting bombarded by emails just in case they decide to send your email somewhere. And then you want to write out that paragraph, copy it, and paste it into these things, and then have like your basic contact information, like your city and all that stuff for when you do it. Okay. Double checking some comments here. Let's see what's going on. Yep, only asking for Google reviews now. Yeah, that's what's up, Kelsey. Zola requires a number of reviews for your profile to be live. Actually, fun fact, they don't. So they say they do, but they really don't. They actually published one of our profiles on Zola because I got published there for a different wedding. And so they published the website there. Then they're like, hey, in order to go live, you have to actually add in a like a profile for our company. And I said, okay, no problem. So I signed up for it, and then they actually went and like adjusted it for me, and then gave me a backlink for it. So and I didn't do any reviews or anything like that. You can totally do it. But yeah, I would also say I'm seeing liars. Yeah, low-key, that happens pretty often. Companies will kind of lie to you. Like you can get out of the knot, you can get out of Wedding Wire. There's a lot of different ways to do all those types of things if you're like stuck in a contract there. And they'll tell you that there's no way, but there's totally ways. So let's go to strategy number 2. So commenting. Okay. Now keep in mind, you're not going to be spamming. Okay. You need to actually be giving some actual comments. Like read the article that you're commenting on. Okay, if you're gonna go to a bunch of different photographer sites, a bunch of different like vendor sites locally, and you're going to their blogs and you're writing comments, if you really think they did a good job, then you should let them know. You should talk about something that you really pulled out of it, and then you can leave your link or whatever. And you don't want to leave it in the comment. You want to leave it usually in the website section of it, but you can leave it in the comment if you so desire. Again, that would most likely be a no-follow link, but it's still a link. And it is a really, really local site that's sending you traffic in most cases. And a lot of times they don't even know to shut off no-follow links. So they're typically, or turn on no-follow links. So they're typically still follow. Okay, so then you want to click on the local results, find their blog and leave a meaningful comment. So related to the subject of the blog. Again, just make sure you're leaving a relevant comment. Don't just like copy and paste your link on a bunch of different sites. It's just an asshole move, really. Most of the time, you'll be able to add your website for a local backlink, typically Nofollow. Location, try variations like your city, county, city nearby, state, country, whatever, wedding business type planners, DJs, venues, florists, dress shops, tuck shops, etc. This is also something you can do while you're doing your vendor research. Like if you're going to make a list of like who you actually want to work with, you should be going to their websites, checking them out and seeing what they stand for. And if that's the case, you're already there, you might as well leave a comment and see if you can't get a backlink. Or you can even reach out to them while you're talking to them, and while you're on their site, send them an email and say like, hey, I want to add you to my preferred vendors list. I was wondering if you would like to add me to yours at the same time. Now, sometimes you get no, sometimes you get yes. Doesn't matter. The ask is the important part. Whether you fail 60% of the time, that still means 60% of the time or not, you're still getting 40% more than people who are not asking in the first place. So, backlink strategy number 3 is to get published, okay? Your work does not have to be incredibly amazing. Sometimes work just has to fit what the publisher is looking for, okay? So like a session at a certain location can work. It depends on what they're looking for. And there's always somebody who needs to publish something, okay? Maybe you're not going to get the best backlink from it, but if you really can't find anywhere that it's fitting, you can find something that's somewhat fitting and gives you a semi-decent backlink. So there's 2 services for this that I know of, 2 Bright Lights and Isle Society. I prefer Isle Society because I'm lazy. Basically inside of Isle Society, I can just drop a gallery link inside of there and then like fill out the style information about the couple, all that kind of nonsense. I try and keyword those out too when I do them. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to use it, but it's hopefully keyworded out enough to where I would get some relevant traffic back. And so I like Isle Society a little better because you can just drop the link. However, with 2 Bright Lights, you have to reformat your images and then upload them to the gallery, usually in high res, which takes a long time because they have by far, and hopefully they hear this podcast, by far one of the shittiest uploading platforms I've ever seen. And they can quote me on that. So kind of going from there, you choose a wedding or session you're really proud of, look through the list of publishers that match the style of the session you're trying to publish. So again, you're on the beach or whatever, you want to look for publishers that are talking about beach weddings. Use a tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs to see which publisher has the best domain authority or reach in combination with likelihood to publish your work. So you just want to see, like, do they have enough monthly traffic? Is this something that seems like they're working on, or is it like one of those new sites where, yeah, you can get published by them, but no one has ever heard of them? Okay, I'm typically looking for things where, like, if I add in my link or if I add in my images, I get some sort of badge back. Okay, some badge that they're going to notice or whatever. And so that way I can show more authority on the site. And even if the backlink sucks itself, I'm at least getting something. And then you're going to share that published link once it's publicly available with your couple, and social media platforms kind of helps boost that as well. Let's check these comments real quick because I'm seeing a bunch of things going off. Aaron Lee says, do these comments on venue websites mean like on a blog post or something like that? That's the only place I can think of where commenting is available on a site. Yeah, so it's going to be basically their blog posts, and basically what you're doing is you're showing that blog post a little love, okay? So the activity that you do on that site, like the comment itself, can show Google that it's maybe more relevant to the subject because it's getting relevant comments, not spam comments. And so you can help that piece link out, and then your link obviously gets more valuable because there's more traffic going to that site. So they might see you or whatever afterwards. And so that's pretty much the only place. Yeah, you're gonna be commenting on their blogs. And then okay, cool. So the rest of the comments just Kelsey agreeing, which is awesome. All right, so next strategy, collaboration. Okay, so this one's actually kind of fun, but I will say, in my experience, photographers take forever to send you any sort of information if you're trying to get them a link, which is very annoying, just to be honest. So you're going to select a few photographer friends in different markets or niches, or it could be vendors. It doesn't have to be photographers. And you're going to come up with a collaborative topic. So favorite image of the year, and then you can do like 6 photographers and their favorite images they took in 2021. Okay. Favorite locations in your city. So maybe this is for different types of photographers. So you can have like a boudoir photographer, somebody who's not competing with you, and a family photographer, and a wedding photographer, which would be you in most cases, right? And then you have like, I don't know, like a architectural photographer or a real estate photographer, and they talk about their favorite places in the city to take photos or just hang out at or whatever, you guys can write that back. And what happens is they give you like a paragraph or a sentence about why they liked the spot and what the spot was. And then you can get a photo of their headshot or the photo of the image itself or a photo of the location, and link back to them on their website with their main key terms. So if they're like, let's say they're the link text would say, like, for me, it would be Orlando wedding photographer. I would want that to be my link text that links back. For a planner, it might be something different. For a different photographer, it might be something different. Just ask them and get that link text in there. Then they're going to go back and they're going to write a similar article, hopefully not the exact same one, that links back to you and does the same thing. And if all 6 people in this do it, then you all get 6 backlinks each from everybody. So it can be very, very useful. You're going to post a picture of their images with their advice and a link back to their site. Have them do the same type of article for you, link back to you. So same type, meaning like basically advice or photos that you really love or whatever. Personally, I love doing ones where it's photos that the photographer loves, because it gives me a chance to show off my more creative work that might grab someone's attention even from their site. And then you have the more collaborators, the better, the more backlinks everyone gets. So if you do a list of top 20 and they all agree, then you're going to get 20 backlinks, as long as everyone actually follows through and does the work, which can be a problem with these kind of things. Okay, if you go to my website, all the way at the bottom, there is a list of wedding photographers around the world, and this is the link I typically send my couples when I can't make it to their wedding. Okay, maybe I'm booked or whatever when they're inquiring, or like I'm sick or something like that and I just can't make it. That's the link that they get. I double check with the photographers and make sure which ones are free if I'm just covering me for being sick, but in most cases otherwise I don't. I will send that link over when I just don't want the wedding. I also have a separate link, and this is just an entirely strategy that I do myself, but I have a separate link for very difficult clients. I'm not going to send them to photographers I like. I'm just going to be honest. I will either send them to photographers who I think are technically, competent, but maybe are like more pushy or whatever, just something about their personality I wasn't like a big fan of. I'll send those difficult couples to them. I'm still giving an answer, and then I'm not responsible for anything else after that point. Just depends on how you look at it. All right, so then you have backlink strategy number 5, which is guest posts. So this is where you go to another established blog and you give them some ideas of what you're going to rank for or what you want to talk about. Okay, so you're going to select a vendor or an established blog locally or whatever, even nationally. So like Pixpa.com, which is a photographer blog. You're going to come up with a potential topic to rank. Okay, so favorite images of the year, photography tips, best wedding day advice, planning tips, how to shoot a wedding. Your favorite gear that you bought in 2021 or whatever's going to be on those sites. And if you're going to do something with gear, make sure you're grabbing like Amazon affiliate links for the gear that you're recommending. That way you can get some money if it does rank. So the idea here is that you're going to get a piece of content that you typically wouldn't rank for, right? So it's like something I would not have the opportunity to rank for. So maybe it's like, I don't know, it's like really difficult on the scale. So it's like a 70 for difficulty, but it has like 5,400 views to it per year. Or per month. I'm probably going to try and write something for that article. I'm going to make it really thorough, make sure it has, all the things we're looking for inside of a decent blog. And then I'm going to give it to them, and they're going to link back to my site, and all the traffic that goes from that page will either hopefully lead to me or at the very least lead to the Amazon links if I did like the gear thing. And then I get some payback from that. Either way, I get the backlink from it, and it's a good backlink. It's not like a no-follow backlink. This is definitely a do-follow backlink. You're going to pitch your topic to the website owners and editors. You're going to need to keyword out and include CTAs in your post. If it ranks, you'll get referral traffic in addition to the backlink. Okay? All right, now let's go into next. Now, podcast. This is actually probably my preferred method. I just enjoy doing podcasts, obviously. So you're going to use a service like Match.fm or reach out to podcast creators in your niche. So if you know somebody who runs a podcast, they're always like, it's like creating content like this is not easy. Sometimes you get blanked on. Sometimes you're just not sure exactly what to talk about next. Sometimes you're in a rabbit hole trying to build so many other things that you kind of forget like what your niche audience wants to talk about, and you just need like a little break. And so you can be the break for these people. So you can do this in Facebook groups. You can do this for podcast creators. What you're basically going to do is come up with a topic to talk about for their audience, how you became a photographer, how to market your business advice, life advice, your favorite locations in the area. There's so many different things you could talk about. And typically if you're going from for photographers, you want to talk to other photographers, you want to give them like some marketing advice or some business advice that like really does help. So give them some juicy subjects. Don't give like crap information away to people who are having you on as a podcast guest. What happens is you're going to pitch your topic over to the host via email, DM, or phone call, depending on their preference. send over a headshot and topic summary and your website information. And you're basically just going to pitch your idea. Hey, so this is what I've been doing. This is how it's been affecting me. Here's what I want to talk about on your podcast. Let me know if I'm a good fit for you. Cool. If not, whatever. You'll get backlinks from wherever the podcast is hosted and the podcast website, usually as long as they're putting you in the description of the podcast episode. So you really do want to make sure that when you're talking to someone who's writing a podcast, that they link back to you in the comments so you can actually get those high value backlinks. Because this is like, we're not talking like little backlinks. This is like you can get backlink from Spotify, Audible, Apple Music, pretty much anywhere where you're going to get where that podcast is going to be at. And that's a really, really high value backlink to get. Okay, and then you have the bonus strategy. Okay, this is number 7. So you're going to go around your town. You're going to take pictures of your town's venues, parks, landmarks, hotels, and local businesses. Think like, what would a newspaper use for an article? Okay, you're going to create a section gallery based on each location you shot, or if you just took like random street shots of people, you could 100% segment this out to action shots, sports shots, whatever. Like, just think about how a newspaper would actually use the article, because they write a lot of stuff, and it costs a lot of money for their photographer to go out. I mean, not that they pay them specifically well, but it costs a lot for that photographer to go out and actually shoot the things. And like in my case, like the Disney images I go take, like when I go to the park just to goof off, I will literally take pictures of the fireworks. I'll put them in, like, I'll take pictures of different landmarks around. I'll just play with my camera throughout the day, which is enjoyable for me. And then I'll segment out the images, like via park or via event or whatever, and then I'll send that to local publications like Orlando Sentinel, like a local newspaper, or like any of those like date night Orlando places, because at the very least, if I give them content, then they'll link back to me from that content. So the image is basically how you get the backlink. So you're going to send the link to business owners, venues, local publications, and municipalities, especially if you're going to go do parks. They always need photos of those, and their photos are always terrible because it's usually like a 50-year-old lady who just bought a new phone, doesn't know how to use it, and is taking a picture like very quickly as she tries to finish the 50 other things that are on her plate. However, you're going out, you're just taking a really, really good photo of it, and you're getting it up there, and you're putting it in, and then you're going to keyword out these things. And then you're going to try and publish them to places like Flickr and everywhere else, so that you can at least start ranking in those in terms of like local stuff that people are looking for. Because I guarantee you, it's someone in your town is looking for a photo of the city just by itself, and they want one they can use, and you want a link from them, and you're not really caring too much about how they use it. Grab the link, at least get that back. So then you're going to offer the images entirely free with a link to your website and as credit when used. You can say something like, I created these photos around town. Feel free to use them for advertising or upcoming articles as long as you link to my website for credit. Ask them if they need anything shot specifically for marketing. So if you're going to go to a business, you're going to say, hey, listen, I love your coffee shop. Can I take a few photos of here for free? They will never say no, okay? Unless you're a really bad photographer. Most of the time they don't say no, okay? Or if they're very specific, like they have their own photographer, they don't want anyone else taking pictures, which is weird. It's not very common for like a coffee shop to have that. You take the photos, you give them the photos, you just say, hey, listen, I'm doing this entirely for Google. I just want to have a backlink from this site. It's local. It's a very, very good place. I also recommend this to my couples. Here's the photos. Just please send me a link. Most of the time they'll be fine with that. They'll usually put them on like Facebook or Instagram for you and tag you in those as well, because they're excited. You're showing off their work. You're basically advertising for them. There's a reason and incentive for them to help you. You just have to go reach out to them first and give them that opportunity. Okay, let me check the comments real quick, just making sure we're not going crazy here. Cool. So Paige says, this is lovely. I never considered just straight up reaching out to podcasters. Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite things to do. It's how I've gotten on a lot. It's how me and John Mansfield are friends. He's in here, I think. That's pretty much how we started. I found his podcast and I reached out and I was like, hey, I got an idea. We could talk about this. And then he's like, cool. I don't have to think about anything. Let's do it. So yeah, the podcast is really great. And then this is really great because this gives you direct local results, and you can upload these into Google Maps with the location geotagged. And from what I'm understanding, I'm still trying to learn this concept, basically, that will help you rank help you go up a little bit in the map pack for your service areas on Google My Business. So it's useful in many ways. Okay, so I didn't lie to you guys. I told you guys that I have 120 plus backlinks you guys can go through. I think that the full count of these was like 136 or so. Okay, so here's the deal. to get these, all you got to do, we're gonna drop a link in the comments. Tyler's gonna drop it. And if you guys got value out of this, let me know. Just like tell me like, hey, this was a great live. I really learned a lot. I need to see that in the comments to make sure that this is the kind of stuff we want to continuously make. This is stuff you're learning from. Okay. To get those backlinks, there's a link we're gonna drop in the comments. You're gonna go there, put in your email address, and then from there you will get all 100, and you'll get all these slides that we just went through, so you don't even have to take notes. And then additionally, you'll get these. So here's the backlinks. Some of them have their domain authority information, some of them don't. It just kind of depends on where I was at when I was finding them. Most of these are free, not all of them, but most of these are free, and most of these are just basically like locations where you can just like fill out a profile piece of information or whatever, or link to something, or just drop in website links or something. So there's a lot of things you can do inside of here. Okay, this is just one of these. There's also this one. So this is again just another sheet. Each of these are 20 links. So each column is 20 links, and then we have all these. Now, some of these are going to be obvious, okay? But not everyone understands that. So you're going to think of social media networks. You're going to see Facebook in there. You're going to see Instagram, Pinterest, all those. Those are all links that you can get. And they're important because even if they're not do follow links, they are high authority links. And they're also kind of expected links. Like it's weird if you don't have an Instagram profile and you're a photographer. I don't like Instagram. I don't enjoy using it for their purposes, but I will take their backlinks. And a lot, it's a good place to have things up. So again, this is pretty much a completely free list. Again, we're dropping that in the comments. I'm going to check the comments one more time for any questions. I'm hoping you all got some value out of this because I really do wish I actually had seen this beforehand. This is some pretty solid information for this stuff. So Shannon says, this was amazing. I really love you give ideas to implement. Yeah. So whenever I teach you guys something, I want to give you like some steps to like go to the next thing. That way you're not coming to the group and being like, well, Roy's just trying to sell us stuff. No, I want to teach you stuff, and then I want you to do it, and then I want to see what happens. So yep, that comment's live in there. Cool. All right, guys, I will check back in with you later on. Thank you so much for joining me. I love seeing you guys here. Again, if you caught the replay, go ahead and drop it in the comments. If you're here live, make sure you left a comment, and then invite your friends to this group. Come on, we need more people to hang out with. Yeah, thanks, guys.